Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our webinar called Marketing Tips and Tricks. So I actually did this webinar at the 2019 Greenhouse and Nursery and Landscape Buying Show at Mystic Lake. So if you were there, you're going to hear much of the same. But if you weren't, this is really just kind of a beginner's tool to how you can, as a small business owner, do some, cheap or low cost or even free marketing and maybe some programs to be able to use to be able to get there. So just to start out, my name is Lauren, and my a little background about me. I just joined Hessman in November of last year in Lindy Companies as their marketing director. Prior to that, I was the Director of Strategic Marketing for St. Mary's University of Minnesota. I planned out the goals, the tactics, the strategies for not only the undergraduate campus in Winona, but also the online and on-ground campuses in the Twin Cities and Rochester as well for their graduate programs and bachelor completion programs. Prior to that, I was a regional sales and marketing director for Southern Media, which is located in Northfield and Faribault, and I believe is now referred to as APG Media. As we go through kind of the beginners of some marketing tips and tricks, I came to Tessman, and at St. Mary's, I had a huge team. I had 3 designers. I had a social media manager. I had a content writer. I had a videographer and a photographer. I had an entire team of people so that when I was kind of coming up with a strategy and some tactics that I wanted to utilize, it was very easy for me to say, okay, well, this is what we're going to do. Now go do it. I don't have that opportunity here at Tessman, so I'm kind of relying on myself as a one-man team, which I'm sure many of you or most of you actually are. So to begin a little bit, normally I would ask who has Google Analytics hooked up to their website. Obviously, I'm on a computer, so we can't do that. However, what I would tell you is that Google Analytics is incredibly important. And if you don't have it already, you need to have that hooked up to the back end of your website. It is absolutely free. And if you have a webmaster, they can certainly just take a Google tag that is set up and install it into the back end of your website. Very, very easy to do. It takes less than 10 minutes. But if you have a webmaster, I highly recommend hooking up Google Analytics. So what is Google Analytics going to tell you? Well, it's going to give you an idea of who is visiting your website. So demographics, whether they're male or female, their age category, where they're visiting from. So are they visiting from the Twin Cities or Fargo or South Dakota or China for that matter? The demographics are very, very important so that you have a good understanding of who is coming to your website. It's also going to tell you where they're coming from. So if you are pushing out any ads via social media, or if you have referral traffic that is out on other websites, such as landscapingmagazine.com or MNLA, so it'll tell you where they're coming from. It'll also give you an idea if they are typing in your website directly into the Google search, or if they are searching for specific items that maybe you sell, and that is how they're getting to your website. This is incredibly important because what you want to find out is what are they searching for the most, and then you can really start to look at your marketing campaign and develop it around those top searches. Maybe they're searching to solve a problem, maybe they're searching for an actual product. Either way, Google Analytics will tell you exactly why they're coming to your website and where they're going. What pages are they visiting when they get to your website? And how long are they staying on those pages? It gives you some really great insight as to whether or not people are actually finding what they need on your website. And it'll also tell you what products they're most interested in. So the greatest thing about Google Analytics is a couple of years ago, they actually dropped the cost to become quote unquote Google Analytics certified. And so you can become certified for free. What that means is that you go through this whole training It'll take maybe a couple of weeks to get through this beginner's training, but what it's going to tell you is how you can read insights into those Google Analytics. This will only help your business because once you understand what those insights mean, you can really plan around who your target audience is. You're going to have a really good idea of what they want from you. So I'm just going to show this video really quickly, but it gives you just an idea of Google Analytics for beginners. So it just gives you kind of an idea of what Google Analytics is and trains you. And of course, once you are done with your beginners training, you can go on to intermediate and then master's training, which is very, very cool. Along with Google Analytics, they also offer something called a data studio. And what that does is it takes all the data that's in Google Analytics and kind of helps you to visualize these reports. And here's a little training video on that. And again, it's all free. So while I'm not the biggest fan of Google, just as in the fact that they're collecting all this information about you, at the same time, it's kind of a necessary evil, and you'll be able to learn so much more data about your customers so that you can actually prepare what they need and what they want. We're going to move on now to social media. And I think most of you are probably already posting to maybe Facebook or Twitter. However, I think it's very, very important that you really determine where your customers are at. For instance, at Tessman, Facebook is really a great place to find our greenhouse and landscape garden centers, perhaps. Twitter is where our golf guys are at. Instagram is also awesome for landscape customers simply because it is so visual in nature. And so our customers want to post those before and after photos. And Instagram is a great place for that to be. LinkedIn is very, very B2B. Tessman and Lindy, I use LinkedIn quite a bit just to be able to showcase for branding, for trustworthiness. But LinkedIn is really a great B2B platform. But Snapchat is kind of this outlier in the sense that people think that Snapchat is really meant for college students or kids. But at the end of the day, the largest growing segment of users on Snapchat are actually women between the ages of 35 and 45 years old. So if that is your age demographic, and again, go back and use your Google Analytics. It's absolutely free. So if you're looking at your demographics, go back and use your analytics, figure out where your customers are at, and then promote each channel differently in its own unique way to be able to reach your customers. One tool, and I think that you are all kind of getting a feel for the word free or low cost, but one tool that I use is Hootsuite. And what I love about Hootsuite is, one, it's free. So you can set this up with multiple, you know, if you want to use Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, you can certainly do that on Hootsuite. The second thing I love about it, however, is you have this ability to be able to schedule out posts. So I can go in and I can plan my week out of what I want to schedule out. And then I can go into Hootsuite and just create those posts and schedule them. And you can see right here, we did a buying show special post, and that was scheduled. The other thing that you want to think about too when you're doing social media is there are actually multiple audiences throughout the day on each platform. So what you'll see a lot of times with Testament, especially on Twitter, is I'll post the same post multiple times throughout the day. So I'll get a different audience at 8 o'clock in the morning than I will at 4 p.m. in the afternoon, and then again at like 1 o'clock in the morning or a late night. And then you'll start to see your engagement grow and your post reach grow. And that is something that a lot of people don't utilize as well as they could. It's very important to do what is called social listening as well. So a couple of times a week, I will schedule out a time where I will go on to Facebook. I'll go on to Hootsuite. I will go on to TweetDeck. That's another really great program that you can use that's specifically for Twitter. But what I do is I search out hashtags that I've used, or I search out our customers as well. And if they've mentioned us, or if there's an opportunity to involve ourselves in the conversation, I will do that. Your customers love that. They know that you're listening. They know that you have their best interest at heart. And so I'm a big, big social listener. I'm a big believer in it. And if I look here really quickly at our analytics, so this is the back end of our Facebook page. This data is just a little bit old. It's from over a month ago. But if you look at it, you want all of these little green areas, these areas to be green because it shows growth, right? So you want your actions on your page views to be higher, your post reach to be higher. You always want to be gaining in that area because that means that you're gaining viewers, you're gaining engagement, you're gaining reach. I will tell you right now, when it comes to social media, videos are the best way to get noticed. And Facebook's algorithm actually will prioritize video over everything else. So when you think you're actually looking at a photo, take a quick look because it might be a video that's just repeating itself 1 second after another. But yes, Facebook's algorithm changes constantly. So this is something that you'll want to keep an eye on going from year to year. And it's really no more difficult than just subscribing to a couple of blogs. That's going to help you get through all the social media algorithm changes that happen throughout the year. You'll also want to look at the post engagements. That is really the most important piece of your social media analytics. You want to make sure that you're posting things that are engaging, and your engagements could be somebody liked it, they shared it, they commented on it. But it's really amazing because if you look at your social media and you see, oh, I only had 3 likes. But if you look at the engagement, those 3 people who liked it, now that's being shared out to people that they know. And so maybe they're sharing it. So you're not seeing it all on the front end. That's why it's so important to go into your back end analytics and really look at that. This piece down here on the lower right is from our Google Analytics. This showed that we had, during this particular time period, which is probably about a week, we had 67 users that came to our website simply because of a Facebook post or multiple Facebook posts. So you can see it is quite powerful, and the fact that it will refer a ton of traffic to your website. One of my favorite free tools is called Bitly. And if you just go to bitly.com, bitly.com, this is a great place where you can take those really long links that maybe are taking up way too many characters on Twitter, or it just looks bad, right? So you can go to bitly.com and put in links that are actually customizable. So when we did our Sure Power selective herbicide promotion, I did a Bitly link that said Sure Power, or the Jandy for Lindy said Jandy Award. So what this does too is it actually gives your customers the psychological connection to what they're clicking through to as well. Again, totally free. And then the really cool part is that it actually gives you analytics in the back end. So it'll tell you how many people clicked through on the link that you shared out. So then you can track whether or not it's working. One thing that I try to tell everybody, and it's really just become kind of a joke, is that I am not a designer at all. I'm a marketer. I would always have designers. It is a totally different skill set to be a designer. And I do use a couple of different designers that I freelance out with, that I share some projects with. But you know what, for those simple things that I don't want to spend money on, here are some really great free tools. So Crello is a website that you can actually create designs on. And what this will do is you can create social media designs, you can create Instagram, Facebook. I mean, obviously you can see it here. They even have some fun video stories that you could share. The one that I actually use is Canva. And I will get there from here instead. Canva, again, is 100% free. However, I pay a couple of $100s a year to be a part of Canva. And what that does when I pay a couple $100s a year is I get to put together a brand toolkit. So in this kit, I have our fonts, which is Montserrat's, and then I also have our logos uploaded, and then also our colors. And what that does is it saves me a lot of time. So when I'm going through and designing things, I certainly don't have to waste a lot of time in creating our different brand colors and going through and entering all the hex and RBG labels, and it's a whole thing. Again, I'm not a designer. The other really cool thing about Canva is if you go through here, there's a ton of different templates. So let's say you have to make an event poster. Here's a template that you can use, and then you just customize all of the different fonts. You can customize the words, you can customize the picture and the background, whatever you want to do. And so it's just a really great opportunity to be able to have a really inexpensive way to design things. The other thing you can do is you can download it actually as a and it's not going to show me, of course, you can download a lot of these designs as a GIF or as a video, because then again, it plays with social media's algorithm. You'll be placed higher. So that is one of the most important pieces, I believe, when it comes to design. Now, let's say you need help. You really need a designer. Obviously, I did not design the book that we pushed out for the 2019 buying show. I also did not design our catalog for landscape or our turf catalog, because that needs a lot more love and care and an actual designer, right? So if you don't know a designer, here are two really great resources that are going to help you, and they're very, very inexpensive. One is Fiverr, and that is simply fiverr.com. And what that's going to do is, for as little as $5, and I'm not kidding you, they can design you a logo, they can design you a flyer, whatever it happens to be. But people will bid on the work that you need as well. So if you need an entire catalog designed, as long as you have the content ready to go, you've got your pictures ready to go, if you want to hand it off to a designer on Fiverr, it's super inexpensive, and they're there to help. The other really cool program is called Upwork, and let's say you need IT help or you need website revisions, and you just don't have that capability. You know, I don't know how to code, for instance. So if I went into Upwork, I could hire somebody. I can actually push a job out and say, I need somebody to recode my website. I need somebody to be able to add pop-ups to my website. Whatever it happens to be, Upwork is there. And again, it's usually very, very inexpensive. Now, I am kind of a believer in you get what you pay for, so you might want to invest into people who really, really know what they're doing. But what it does, both of these websites give you great background information, resumes of the people that you'd want to work with. So it's two very, very good resources for you at a low cost. Lastly, I just want to talk about ongoing education. You know, I did used to work for a university, but aside from that, I am incredibly supportive of ongoing education, and that would include something called MOOCs, which are actually massive open online courses. And what a MOOC is you could go to some place like Coursera, for instance, and Coursera is 100% free. However, if you want to get a certificate in something, like maybe Python, you want to learn how to code, the University of Michigan offers these coding programs, or whatever you want to learn. I mean, there's thousands of different programs out there from hundreds of different universities across the world. You can even get a master's degree on Coursera if you like. But most of the courses are free. And if you would like to earn a certificate or have that piece of paper at the end, something like Coursera is going to cost you $79 a month. And it generally takes you a couple of different, a couple of months to be able to finish a course. I just finished customer analytics, business analytics through the University of Pennsylvania Wharton School of Business. So these are very impressive universities that are teaching what you need to know as well. I'm a huge believer in ongoing education, so I think it's incredibly important that if you want to learn new things, these are amazing ways and opportunities that you can do that. The other one is edX. edX is the same thing as Coursera. It's just a massive open online course. So that is our super simple marketing tips and tricks webinar for today. I'm going to look to see if we have any questions at all. If you have any questions, just type them in there. And then what I will do as well is I will share this video out on YouTube so that it will be there for everybody. Also, know that I am available. You can absolutely use me as a resource if you are a Tessman or a Lindy customer in good standing. But I would love to be able to come and meet with you, be able to talk with you, find out what's challenging you, and help you, because our goal is to, help you get bigger and better and do amazing things. In any way that I can help that, I'm willing to do so. So please don't be afraid to get in touch. So thanks for joining us today, and we will move on to our next marketing webinar shortly. Thank you.